I'm live. Welcome, YouTube pipe smokers. I hope you're doing good. What a day. We have a mystery bag. I gotta watch my. There. Clean off my screen. Ash goes places sometimes, and you gotta take care of it. So, fill you guys in on the last few days. Got the pipe work done. Had stuff packaged up, ready to go. And then had some stomach, what would you call it? Colitis nonsense come up. So the last few days have been rough, but today, right now, is much better. So this is some I don't know what it is blend. Hey, recovering Michael, if I remember correctly. How you doing, brother? I'm gonna smoke some God knows what. I don't know what it is, but it was a Frankenstein blend. Oh, it smells like rich chocolate. How's your night going, buddy? Or your day? Guess it may be different time for you anyway. I got pipe all but finished today. I just need to make a second stem for it. The person, Brad the Bearded Piper. How you doing, brother? Good evening to you as well, man. I almost made the rest of a Sherlock Holmes pipe. And sanding was going good, and I decided to stop and do the drilling and fit the stem and then finish off the shank. And I was drilling the shaft or draft hole, and the bit, the way it looked when I drilled it out to see what was going on, but I went into, everything was perfect. The chamber was perfect width. It was very nice looking. It had good dimension. Everything was good, nice. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be like 1 3/4 deep. Everything's good. And drilled the mortise, and that was great. And then I'm like, all right, time to finish this. Let's make sure it's lined up. Everything's good. And I'm pretty sure it hit an inclusion under where the bowl would have been. And then after a few more seconds, the bit broke. So it broke into 3 pieces. So that pipe is shot. I had to drill around it to get the pieces out, and it's not going to be usable, unfortunately. So that would have been a third if there was a category for thirds. But Hillbilly Piper, let's see, we got Smarty Bob. How you doing, brother? Let's see. Michael's doing well, just mellowing the evening with some Bib and Tucker Kentucky bourbon. Ooh. That sounds good, man. Some drinks sound good. So I'm trying this half-year-old leftovers of a bunch of blend, the Frankenstein blend. But well, one bit broke in a stem we were doing. It was a cheap bit. My dad and I knew it, and we had it on the lathe, and it was going. Everything was working, and he noticed it had twisted a little or come sprung where it looks like the the shape, the spiral is going the other way a little bit, but he thought, I could get one more out of it kind of thing. And he said later he knew better, and he didn't know why he didn't just switch it then, but it twisted and drilled out a knot in the middle of a stem and messed that up. The bit I used, that for the bit it is very rare that those ones break, but it was a small size, and I think just the angles and the fact that even if it's like an eighth thick, it's actually just the core of that's a solid piece. So, but that was pretty rare. That was pretty dang rare that quality of bit would have broken. But luckily, they're cheap even for the good quality. Hey, Zippo, how you doing, bud? So I'm going to see what this blend tastes like, this Frankenstein. But I did finish 95 or 99% of Hillbilly Piper's pipe. His stem, the first stem is now done. And it's going to be a natural pipe. The sanding's almost completely finished. So tomorrow I just need to finish up the sanding, maybe an hour or less of sanding, and about an hour on a smaller stem. So he's got 2 stems, and that's it, man. It's going to be good. And this is really the first block of wood of Briar'd that I could not use. It's the second one that had an inclusion underneath the draft hole. But it's the first one I couldn't salvage. I could fix the other one. I even took a thin strip of sandpaper on the other pipe, went through the shank, got it out of the bowl, and sanded to fix. I mean, it was crazy, but I managed to get it fixed. Yeah, 3 pieces. I'm like, how'd this even happen? And I did get one piece loose, but I couldn't have, the pipe wouldn't have worked with a bit in it anyway, just sitting there. They're like, well, it smokes okay. It's a little restricted, but it doesn't pass a pipe cleaner. I don't know what the problem is, sir. Maybe it's the smoker. Maybe he's inexperienced. Ashton, half Corona cigarillos today. I'll try one tomorrow morning or evening. Very nice. But the nice thing is tomorrow is Sunday and not Monday. Hello, Dark Lord. So I have everything ready for mailing out, and I'll see if I can get Hillbilly's box ready tomorrow since he's back. Then everything will go out Monday or Tuesday. I'm hoping Monday. We had a post office closing for 3 days for maintenance. So. Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, let's see. I've got like 5 or 6 pipes going out, guys. Oh, and I left the name the same. That's right, Monclaude. I feel good. It feels like midday. It took me 3 days to feel this good. There we go. Mon Claude, how are you today, bud? Oh, it's crazy, man. I had I had colitis flare up. I thought I was being smart and I knew better. We bought some mangoes and we weren't 100% sure if those upset my colitis or if it was other times I ate some other fruit and happened to pair mango with them. I confirmed a few days ago mango does indeed bother the living heck out of me. So yesterday, I think, well, I did eat dinner, but otherwise I had half a granola bar the rest of the day. I don't know what else the day before. It was painful, but the swelling's at about 20% of what it was. Felt like I had a sea turtle under my ribs. And my wife told me not to swim with my mouth open. Who'd have known? So that actually, once I sat down to do this with you guys, that actually calmed down a lot. Feels good. And I really shouldn't have any complaints over the Briar, over the bit breaking. Yes, it did totally destroy a piece of Briar, but I probably owe one somewhere because I've had a lot of luck with Briar. Oh, Monclad is day 4 with coronavirus. No symptoms, thank Moses. Smoked a batch of pipe today and did a bunch of gardening. Very nice. You got to keep relaxed. And I couldn't believe it because, well, I had an idea that Sherlock Holmes, that block may not work for that because I had to remove like a 1/4 inch off the top, which I thought, man, I wanted a little taller. But as it went, the grain was turning out really nice. I'm like, this could be a nice kind of mini Sherlock Holmes. This would be good to be kind of a small pipe for people, just nice size. And then whatever happened. Mike. But everything aside, I really have had great luck with Briar. The drilling's been good other than today. And that's just how it goes. You got to be able to just pick up a new block and start. So I did. Picked out a block, drew in pencil what I was going to do on it, and it has a bunch of plateau. I was like, fine, you stinking Sherlock Holmes. And that Sherlock Holmes would have had plateau on the rim. Grr. But I said, fine, you're going to break. We're going to mess up or whatever. I shouldn't blame the pipe. I was mad at the block of wood, but it was really the drill bit's fault. But either way, the two worked together and they were co-conspirators and it was baloney. So I picked out a bigger block. I'm going to make a pipe shape I've loved for quite a while that I actually don't talk about. So it'll be a surprise. A lot of people like them and look for them and don't seem to find them hardly ever. And there's a big, beautiful block with a whole bunch of plateau in the right looking spot. So it's going to be cool. And in the spirit of the upcoming cannonball and tall pipe season, The Horn Warden, that'd be cool. I do need to make one of those. I saw something like that today. I was like, that sounds good. Nope, not an ants. I bet it will be hard to guess. Quarter century Toro. Zippo's getting classy. You know, this isn't bad. I don't know what this would be. This is the very Frankenstein blend that I got coffee out of. But that is not the pinch I got now. Now it tastes kind of like coffee with a hint of Perique and like almost dusty chocolate. But it's good in a smoke. If you think about the taste too much, like, oh, it's chocolate, then you'll be like, nah, this is that kind of chocolate that's like almost old, questionable, but you're still chewing it. Nope, but I'll tell you guys, I'm going to make a tomahawk. Nice, Brad. I've heard that that's a good one. I've not tried espresso, but I've heard that's a good one. I've had my Irish coffee, which is my leading favorite of what I've had. Have not had espresso. But I have like 4 or 5 just kind of okay ones, but they aren't quite perfect like Irish coffee is. But I've heard nothing but good about espresso. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and give some prayers to Chris. He's just feeling under the weather. So that's why he did not do his live. I don't believe it's anything serious, but we say prayers for him anyway. What the heck? You say prayers all the time in the back of your mind, even so. He ought to be in there. But yeah, we're going to have a tomahawk pipe, and I might do some wicked rustication on it. I'm really thinking about it because it's going to have the right, it's already got such a big bowl size to work with. Well, see, that would be your prayer, Monclaude. I can't repeat the word out loud, but you pray that he stops being that. Okay? Yeah, I don't know what happened to the last 3 hours. Felt like half an hour. I was ready to start my live 10 before 10 Eastern. And I swear I blinked and it was 45 minutes later. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the cat wanted to be held outside and get scared of birds. So we did that 3 times. Hello, how you doing, brother? I'm glad you're on here. I don't know what button that is. I'll have to tell. Have to look at what that one is. Glad you're on here, man. So, I should have everything mailed Monday or Tuesday, depending on when the post office is back in action. I'm shooting for Monday. But yours and Paul's and Vegas Pipers are all ready. Oh, nice. Ooh, that's a good feeling to just finish up a video, especially if you like presenting and doing that. You get one uploaded and you're like, I'm good. I can light my pipe again, visit with friends. Progress is being made while I'm hanging out. Tomorrow, I just have to finish a small stem. Hillbilly Pipers going to have 2 stems with his pipe. So he's got a nice one and then a short one. So the same pipe can be, it'll be a clencher either way, because I nailed the button on the big stem. That is awesome. And then it'll be a nose warmer with the other stem. And then I just have to make some tampers. Some more tampers. And then package a couple of boxes tomorrow and send everything up. They're going to be like, why do you have 6 boxes today? I'm like, why'd you have to be closed 3 days? You messed me up. Oh, nice. Oh, hey, DDT. How you doing, buddy? And then I found this blend that I took outside, and it aged in the garage for like probably about a week, and it tastes like marshmallows, and I can't quit smoking it, but I don't know what it's made from, and I need to sit down and look at it and figure it out, but I got lazy. But it didn't taste exactly like marshmallows when I made it. It's after it aged, then it's like the char light is marshmallows. It's fantastic, but I have to figure it out. Sometimes recovering, if you go in and you enter the words new content and then the channel name, sometimes it'll bring it up when it wouldn't before. Or you may be able to click on him here and visit channel, then sub, and then come back. Man, yeah, it was beautiful here. It was cold, but the shop was comfortable and cool weather felt good. I was like, it's swimming weather. Then the very next day, for the last 2-3 days, it's been winter. Then it was insulation back on the pipe. I was like, what? Oh, awesome. You're welcome. I figured that out searching my own channel. Because I go to my channel and something was glitched or something. So I'm like, maybe searching it'll work. And I did that and it came up. I'm like, okay, thank goodness. And then it got fixed like a week later, but I felt good. But soon here, I will order some more stem material. My dad helped me today. We got a whole bunch of stems rotted out and drilled. And I've been getting better at making stems than I was. And that is such a great feeling to have that muscle memory or that system down. Hand-eye coordination, when it's like everything's working, you sit down and it's just, even if it takes a little bit, so much faster with stems now than I was. And I figured out a couple of neat tricks that help you get a really good grip, so you can clench pipes really easy. But it's going to be good. I'm excited for this week. Hunter, I'm making a new pipe I never really talk about. Can you guess what it is? Oh, thank you, buddy. I had a mini church warden down, man. I was discouraged and just kept working, and I was waiting for that moment where you're like sanding and you're waiting for the shape to just really come to mind, just the little finite details, and then bam, and you can get to work and finish it up. Right as I got there, decided to drill the chamber and the shank. Drilled the chamber absolutely perfectly. The shank was dead on. The angles were perfect. It was like a dream. And then the stinking thing broke. The bit broke inside the. So that's a dead pipe. But I used that anger and disappointment, or disgust would be the right word. It was only momentary aggravation, but I used that disgust and grabbed another big block of briar, and I'm like, I'm making a tomahawk pipe. And it's got a bunch of big plateau, like some deep spots, looks really cool. Well, there's a Dublin pipe with the yellow stem that's almost done. That's for Hillbilly Piper. That'll be finished tomorrow. Yeah, recovering. There aren't very many pipes made that are tomahawk pipes that I've seen. And usually they're rare and people know what they got and they're expensive. Brad, it was great to have you with us, man. I hope you have a great night and take good care. Thank you for your time, buddy. Yeah, and I'll see how the grain is. But I'm thinking rustication on the front. It's gonna be. I was gonna do the Sherlock Holmes was gonna be a really nice brown, just a almost light brown, really pretty. But I got other ones, and I didn't like that I had to start off with taking like a 1/4 inch wood off the top because I wanted it to have a little bit taller bowl. So if that had to be the one to go kaput, that's okay. But my dad said, well, at least it was good practice. And that's true because I figured out a couple of ideas. Like remembering the Dremel for certain edges. Usually I don't have to worry about that, but in a couple of cases, the Dremel helps. So, if you learn something, I guess it wasn't a total loss. But I'm doing a chimney pipe. It's a beautiful chimney pipe. The grain is coming out really good. Even only sanding it at 220, you can see a lot of grain really start to stand out. So I'm almost done with the shaping. And then I just got to drill the holes for that one. So, yeah, within this week, if it's a great week, we could have a tomahawk, a chimney pipe. There's another pipe I've done before that I have on the side. And then a bulldog church warden. So if it's a great week, maybe I could have between today and like next Sunday, maybe I could have 4 pipes done or something. I know it's asking a lot, but you hope for the best. And we got new drill bits in anyway for the stems. Much better ones, so that is really good. And thanks in huge part to Hunter. I'm getting a lot of good practice in bending stems and really comfortable with it now, so it's much easier. So the stem bending's been spot on. The bits are way better. And they've all been good enough anyway, but finding out a couple of easy tricks while you're sanding. It's like, oh, this will actually make it better for holding for this, or if it's this length of stem or this type of pipe. I'm excited. Everybody's going to get, let's see, we're going to have Paul do a yabo. There's going to be a yabo so we're going to have some yabos within the next week or so. Country Gentleman will get his. Well, that sounds like a threat. I don't mean it as a threat. Paul will get his. Hillbilly will get his. Phil will get something. Dark Lord will get something. Vegas Piper will get something. And then I'm working on Zippos, and I'm going to put a box together for DDT. Zippo and DDT won the random drawing from a couple Saturdays ago. And that'll be probably next weekend that I'll start putting DDT's box together. But I'm going to focus on this stuff that kind of has to go out soon. And then focus on Zippo and DDT stuff and get Zippo's pipe done, and just because if I try to do so many things at once, it makes my mind really exhausted, and then I'm like, man, this is really hard to get through something simple. Oh, Hunter, man, I was like, this will be out Wednesday, and I'm like, maybe Thursday? Come on, Friday. Okay, open Monday, but I don't know what that means, because sometimes they open in the afternoon. Then everybody's in line, they get there, and then you don't get to go in because they open at like an hour before they close after maintenance. They usually don't do maintenance there, at least not when I need to be there. It's been a long time, so the last time I did, it was a train wreck, and you just go the next day, but I really want it to be Monday. Well, let's say this, no later than Wednesday, if possible. But at least it's not on me. I got the stuff ready. I'm just waiting. So that is a huge relief. And my mom made some church warden stems, or bags to work for the stems. Some really beautiful ones she made recently, so that'll be nice. And gosh, she made like 15 bags the other day. And I've got bags here, so everything's good. And just more pipes. I'm already going to have to order Briar'd down the road, because that's what happens. You start side projects and you get sidetracked, and you get the side projects done, and you are mostly done, and you really just need a good day to finish each one. And then, you do the commissions, and you got other stuff you're working on, and you try some stem ideas, or you try a pipe idea, and but it's great because it gives me something to make me feel like I have more purpose, and that's a very great feeling. That is undervalued. Man, and Hunter, you are going to love the texture of that rustication, man. It feels so cool. It feels like fish scales, like cool. Looks like fish scales, but then there's just enough grip. It's awesome. And the drilling was perfect. And it's going to be a good pipe, man. I think my stress is just a little up because it's like things are ready. I want, once you guys have them, the stress goes down. That's really when it ends. Once I start a block, it's this whole journey. Whether it's one pipe or 5 pipes, It's this crazy story. It's like reading a really good book. And when you've got it ready to get into the mail, that's like the bad guy kidnapped somebody. So that's where I'm at. And then the mail person gets it, and you're like, oh, I think the hero's going to win. Let's see. And then when you guys receive it, the hero wins, and it was a great story. Smarty Bob, take care, brother. Thank you for jumping in here with us. I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And happy smokes to you, bud. And I got to get caught up on videos. But I tried today. I got to remember to comment, because what I did is I put some in a watch later list. And I played through them and listened to them. And then sometimes machine comes on and I miss some of it. Or I get a phone call. Or I listen to it and it automatically goes to the next one and the next one. And I just don't comment on them all. But I've listened today to about 5. Give or take. But I'm really just focused on getting pipes out for you guys to see. The Tomahawk one, I think, I got a really good feeling about that one. I think it's going to be good. Got a great looking block. You know it's bad when you send Phil a picture and he just puts an emoji like, oh, kind of face. Yeah. The only way to get the drill bit out of the shank, which is causing the major issue, is to drill around it and remove it and ruin it anyway. It's crazy. But it's okay. Oh, yeah, buddy. And it will be made available. And now that we have the other new drill bits in for the lathe, I'm going to be able to finish. There's a pipe I made, a squat, almost like Dublin style tomato, kind of that low one. I stuck a green stem in. That stem was drilled with, the stem would work for a really tall pipe, but it's got a pretty big around opening, like 5/32 in the stem for like a 2-inch stem on a pipe with like an inch shank. And it's going to have way too much draw. Someone's going to get tongue bite or something. So I'll remake a stem for that, and then that'll be done, and that'll be available. The red pipe is available. And yeah, I'm pleased that they turn out to be good smokers. I figured since today is Saturday and I always mix it up with Tuesday, I'd smoke my Country Gentleman from Todd. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that project. My goal, and I am gonna pray tonight that I have, maybe it sounds selfish, I'm gonna pray that I have a really good night, because it's been a rough couple of days. Because it's not like it's severe pain, but it's just that inflammation is persistent, and it makes it hard to do stuff. One day was so bad I couldn't move, so the whole day, and I hated that. So I hope it's a good enough day I can go out and work on a pipe. I'll get hillbilly stuff done, get some extra tampers made, get an order probably in a cart ready to go, and start on Zippo's pipe and maybe that Tomahawk. That's my tomorrow goal. And maybe, yeah, the stem work goes fast now. So it's really once it's drilled. Because once it's drilled, which I wait for my dad for, once it's turned to a rod and drilled, then I can do the tenon. It's really the drilling that's only the stressful stuff for me, like the stem and the chamber. And then I actually look forward to the shank, because I usually go, it depends, but usually 1/2 inch to 5 or even 6/8 tenon, or a hole for that much. And lining up those two is the biggest stressor, but the biggest relief of stress. So it's that peak moment where you're like really watching everything, and it's got to be perfect. And so when that part's all done, and it's like, okay, now I just shape the mouthpiece and the bit, sand a little on the tenon, and get it just right, then it's a great feeling. Dingus, how you doing, brother? Dingus, I started on your Sherlock Holmes pipe the other day and almost finished it today. And then I had an inclusion, and something inside the pipe went wrong, and it broke a drill bit into 3 pieces. And in order to get the pieces out, since the pipe, it was ruined with the bit in it and ruined to get it out. So I gotta start over on that one, buddy. But that's in my week of plans. I've got a nice list, and I'm going to work hard this week and get a bunch of stuff out. But it turned out okay, because it was going to be a mini Sherlock Holmes. Because of a crack, I had to take a bunch off the top. Honey Dingus said, so you're saying I'm so ugly I break pipes? No, it was just a little bit. No, I didn't have a great feeling about that Sherlock Holmes. Like, I had a good feeling about the shape. I was very comfortable with it. When I realized we had to take off like a 1/4 inch off the top, I already kind of thought, I don't know about this. Then as it hit this perfect zone and all the grain was being revealed, even at 220 sanding, I was like, this is gonna be salvageable. And then but I'll get a better piece so it can be that kind of trademark height, so it'll be the regular size. And my dad says, at least it's practice. I said, yeah, at least it was practice. And I've had good luck with Briar'd. So, and I salvaged a similar case in a pipe last week, and that was a lot of work to fix that. But this one was not fixable. But it's all good. And I still have to finish my Bulldog, but I'm kind of setting that one aside. I'm going to start on Zippo's Bull Warden Church Dog. So it'll be good. I'll focus on a bunch of different stuff, and everything will be good. Trying saddle stitching. How's that treating you? Is this the tin? I had a tin of something I opened last week. I don't know where I put it. I don't even know what's in this jar. Ooh. I think this shouldn't be lane 1Q. This might be the older lane 1Q. I've got some lane 1Q that's aged, and then I had some. I think this is the first jar I had aged from like 3 years ago, because it doesn't smell like the other ones, but it smells really good. So I'm going to smoke that. Not good so far. That's my kind of pipe when you can't get it into the jar. That's a good pipe. And I've got a good amount of pipes started, so I'm just going to make my goal try to finish about a pipe every couple days of some older stuff I have, and then keep working on commissions, as well as some blending. Dingus, I made a root beer blend, buddy. So that might make you feel better. And it's very, very good. It's spot on like pistachio for root beer. So Zippo and Dan Lopez know that pistachio has a reputation that it tastes exactly like the name. And that's how root beer is, so that's a good one. Which I have to include some root beer and DDTs and Zippos samples and their stuff. Honey Dingus bought a soda stream, and he's been making Italian sodas like crazy. That sounds good. I should drink some soda now. I was going to earlier, and it wasn't the right time. But I did take this out and drop it on the way to the shop the other night. So it's time. I think you'll like it a lot, Zippo. It's fantastic. Nice and gritty. I got some of the dust I missed. Use yours to make fizzy booze. I almost read that wrong, Dan. I forgot how good this was. Awesome, Dingus. I'm drinking this more for the ginger to try to help my angry tum-tum. Also, anyway, I figured that mango bothered me, and I thought, man, we got all these mangoes that smell great. And I thought, I really want to eat a piece, and I fought that for like the first 3 or 4 mangoes. Then I thought, well, I'll just kind of bite a piece and get the mango juice, spit a piece out. And I did that, but I still ended up keeping a tiny, tiny, tiny piece. And I ate it, and it was good. And I definitely confirmed it aggravates colitis like there's no tomorrow. So I am done with mangoes for the rest of my life. Because it's not worth it. That's right, Hunter. I got some in yours and Paul's boxes ready to go. I'm going to have to make a coconut blend that's like cocoa or coconut, either way, has to be like spot on, perfectly accurate, absolute cocoa or coconut, either one. They sound good. Yeah, it's probably going to surprise you pretty good, Hunter. It even gives that little bit of a almost a zing on your tongue, but doesn't give you tongue bite. It doesn't lead to that. It's just there a little bit here and there. I look forward to you receiving it. So my thought with the giveaway, because I don't even know where I stand with subs because it changes all the time. It goes up or down 5 to 10, and I don't even know exactly where I'm at now. But I think with the giveaway, I'll probably do that for the end of June, because that's when my Church Warden Bulldog season comes to a close. So regardless of where I'm at the end of June, probably July 1st or something like that, I'll make a video. I'll go through. We'll get back all the names, get them all gathered, all the ones I'd written down, all the ones that submitted to the videos, the shapes they wanted to see in a giveaway. So that giveaway will have a pipe based on the most popular vote. So if there are a lot of bent pipe votes, it'll be that. Some people are saying, straight pipe or bent pipe, regardless of the shape. And some people are very specific. Doesn't matter. I'll go through and look, and it's if I see a lot of bulldogs and a lot of bent, I'll make a bent bulldog, that kind of thing. So that is still open for anybody who has not put their name in. It's real easy. All you have to do, there's a few videos back that says an announcement or something like that. And if you can leave a comment there or email is fine, then I'll put your name and put a vote for the shape down. And then July 1st, whatever shape is there, whatever the one is, we'll do a drawing. I'll start making the pipe, or we'll start making the pipe, then do a drawing. There will be some really nice blends thrown in. And yeah, it'll be really good. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I like doing giveaways. It's been a while, so I'll make an announcement video and just let people know that we'll just do it at that time regardless, because it really isn't about subs. I just feel like it's time. Yeah, Dingus, my dad had type 2 diabetes. And he got cut out pop entirely, cut out, limited bread to like 1 or 2 slices, I think, a day. If he has pasta or pizza, he counts those as the slices of bread. Doesn't have pasta or pizza a lot. If he orders something, if it comes with potatoes or fries, he often gets a salad or something else. And that's made a big change. And spaghetti's, like pasta's a complex carb. So it actually breaks down and turns into sugars and then fat. So that doesn't help. And pop is not good for you. I know I'm drinking it, but it is not good for you. I'm kind of surprised we're lucky enough to, I'm surprised it ever got to be produced. It's not healthy, but it needs to be to people's decision anyway that they should drink it or not. That's right, Dan. That's the secret to happiness and healthiness, is skipping most of the happiness. Like for me, take out all my favorite fruits. Other than blueberries, I get to keep that. That's at least is one of my favorites. Mangoes, pineapples, blackberries, raspberries. I got to take those out. Those are my favorite. But I'd rather miss those than deal with swollen tummy for days at a time. Oh, nice, Dingus. Nice that you'll be getting to celebrate here soon. Well, and soda, and we've had doctors with crazy ideas for a long time. like, I think it was, I can't remember exactly which plague it was, if it was the Black Plague or I don't think it was that. I think it was polio. There was something I saw that they were spraying chemicals in the air and going house to house, fumigating basically with chemicals that could kill you, trying to get rid of whatever plague they thought that was the right thing. And then for a long time, cocaine was the right thing. And it's it makes you wonder because at that time, people were like we are. At that time, they're taking whatever meds the doctors say they're good. Based on our study, they were work. And we're doing that again still. You know, I watched a commercial with my mom the other day where it was like, you're watching these ads where everything's sunshine and great and people feel good while they list the side effects that can kill you. And there are like 30 of them. And in the background, they're playing their music and showing sunshine and everything's wonderful. And this will help ease the pain of your arthritis while you implode. It's crazy. So I try not to take even Tylenol or any meds. I have taken Advil this week. But I try to take as few meds as possible other than the seizure meds. And allergy meds, I guess, asthma and allergy meds, but if I can avoid it, I try not to take very many meds at all. Yeah, because why not, dingus? Dan, I like the way you worded that. Oh, yeah, I remember that too. I don't remember what it might have been sulfur. I don't remember the plague or whatever it was they were spraying for at the time. I just can't recall if that's what they were talking about using, but they used something that was deadly. Well, it was like in World War II, they had lead mines. People going through lead like crazy, being right around it all the time. And they produced what was called chat, which is basically excess stuff, the junk they didn't want that wasn't the pure lead or whatever. And the people in this little town would make benches out of it. It was really fine dust. It would get in their windowsills and stuff. And pretty soon things were tasting weird. It would affect their water. So the government, was paying them to move. And some people chose to live there, but they had kids playing in it and having all sorts of issues. It was weird. But I learned to kind of second guess doctors most of the time. Which has helped a lot. I ask a whole lot of questions. Generally, what are the stinking side effects? Give me worst case scenario kind of stuff. That's true. It's just heavy sugar. Well, I went on almost a 3-day fast unintentionally. And it's weird. It's weird getting pain from hunger to the point where any type of food, even foods you don't like, the smell of them makes your mouth water, and you're like, man, I need to eat. Um, Same time you feel full, you don't want to eat, your stomach doesn't growl, you're just like, oh, I'm not even hungry. That's not a fun feeling. But I just want to keep making pipes and get a bunch out. So if I can keep doing that, I'll be happy. That is a very possible theory, Hunter. That's pretty smart, man. I didn't even think about that. I remembered hearing something about being in their wine to sweeten it. And then you had the queen in Britain that painted her face. Was it with lead and some other stuff? She wanted to look like porcelain, and it ended up leading to her early demise. People do weird stuff for looks, though. It's like that stuff people injecting stuff into their bodies and arms, then they look all deformed. They're like, look how good I look. And I'm like, yeah. You flex those water balloons that can't help you lift anything anyway. Or the whole. Now, plastic surgery, I will say, does have a place, especially when there are people with issues like breathing issues or deformities, disfigurement, accidents. I can get it. I don't know why anybody would choose surgery to try to make themselves look better just because, when a lot of them already are pretty good looking people to begin with. They decide, let's go get Botox injections and have implants. And then they get ugly. You see the people that still do it, they're like, it gets rid of the wrinkles. But then they go to laugh and they're like, look like they're trying to use the bathroom or something. Like, doesn't look right. Really? DDT? That's cool to know. Oh, yeah. People in general. But easy to say, definitely. China has a lot of everlasting life, let's use whatever thoughts. Just as bad as places in the US have this, let's look like we're 12 and actually make ourselves look 50 to try to only look 30 forever. Yeah, that drives me nuts. Like, well, they had the shark fin soup stuff, and then they have the deal where there's manta rays, which is those huge, massive stingrays that are big and black, and they have the curved pieces underneath their mouth that curve around. They look really cool. People will ride on them, and they're just massive. And they wanted like dried lungs from those, and the most life prolonged they would get is if you pulled them up on shore alive and took those out while they were alive. It's like, just do something that doesn't torture things. I should bottle, somebody could bottle arsenic and do the right advertising and sell it to Chinese people. And, hey, this is for those of you who seek eternal life, no matter what grief or pain it causes others. Because the ones that do it, they probably won't even read it. They're just like, oh, I'll take that. They said it'll give me everlasting life, which is silly. I think the thought of living forever is appealing. At the same time, I think there's a reason that, oh, yeah, Dan, I have seen that. They grab, oh my gosh, they harvest the heck out of those things. Snake wine. It's crazy, man. My grandpa, my dad's dad, had a lot of health problems. He never complained about anything. He kept it to himself mostly. And my dad said, well, I wish he would have told me. And he should have. But my dad said when my dad was pretty young, his dad had stomach cancer, and they gave something like nuclear seeds or whatever he said. I don't know if that's the right word. But he said they tried some stuff for it and it didn't work right. And he suspected that his cancer came back. And my grandpa had intestinal problems, all sorts of stuff. And he told my dad at some point, he said, I had him do all these tests and all these treatments to keep going, and I wish they wouldn't, because then I just wouldn't be here. And it wasn't a depressed or cynical kind of thing. It was just he was ready to be done. He lived a very rich life. He worked very hard. He supported his family, raised a family. Everybody was good. He was just tired of being in pain and living through it all the time. And that's between he and God. So, when it comes, whatever time is anybody's time, I couldn't do a nursing home or anything like that. I'll tell you that now. I've worked in them and I couldn't do one. If I pass, I'd like to be doing something I'm happy doing, or be at home, or be in the garage working on a pipe or something, or I don't know, something like that. I don't want to be in a nursing home. My mother-in-law was in one for therapy, and they were forgetting to feed her. They were skipping her meds. I'm not going to tell her to go live in a home. Like, seriously, they didn't feed her for like 2 days, and my wife had to go get her food. So from then on, she brought her a meal a day from somewhere. Jeez. And I've worked in some, and you get a few good staff members, but they're not there all the time. And you can have some really cool relationships with the residents and the residents with the staff, but most of the good staff doesn't stay put. It's all the people that never show up for their shift that keep their jobs. And if you're the med aide, if you got a good nurse, she'll tell the med aide go get her meds. But if the med aide isn't on the ball or doesn't care or isn't responsible, then you miss your meds. The nurse did what she was supposed to do, but the med aide didn't. And then you put into account that they have hundreds of people in a home, and you've got a staff of, I don't know. We'll say one place I worked was 200 people, and it had 2 med aides, I think 4 total, but usually 1 on shift, a nurse, and a charge nurse. And then we had some CNAs. So there were 2 people or 3 people to get to the 200 people. It's crazy. Amen, Zippo. And people stealing stuff, either confused people stealing stuff from other residents, or residents doing it on purpose, or nursing staff doing it. I had my mom's great aunt had stuff stolen from her. My mom's dad and her great aunt were in nursing homes. My grandma was to recover from a back surgery. But my grandpa passed while he was there. He said, I don't get it. He said, I worked hard. I own all this land. The hell am I doing in this little room? And it was time. That was enough. He couldn't eat. He was ready to go. That was that. There you go, Hunter. Yeah, no kidding, Dan. Well, and I'd be stubborn. Hell, sometimes I get it. Sometimes my legs give out. I don't have the best legs now. They'll give out. And if I was in my 70s and they gave out more than once a year, people would be asking, need to go to a home. And they're probably going to be a little worse than they are now, or they're going to be at least the same. But I'm not going to move to, generally, nursing homes are very expensive. The cheap ones are at least $3,000 a month. And you sell your house and everything of value, and you go live in a home, and you move in from your, let's say, 1,000 square foot house into a small room. And Zippo, back then I would have been like, what are you doing? But being wiser than I was, good for you, man. That probably helped them keep going longer than anything. And then they put you on hospice care. hospice can do a lot of good, but I don't feel like it does. It doesn't do as much good, I would think, as they hope it does. They lift some restrictions so you can kind of have what you want, but they make it so it's like, okay, he's almost certain to die now. Let's let him have what he wants. Well, to me, when your time comes and you're ready to go, you're not thinking about, oh, what's something I want to do before I pass now that they said I can have it. Look at my neighbor. He had heart surgeries. Now, this neighbor passed a long time ago. He had heart surgeries. He had bad knees. He should have not made it as long as he did. And he had a healthy diet to help keep him going. But what kept him going equally as much as the diet was those cheat days once a week when we'd go get a greasy damn burger. Because it's body and soul. And that crap where some people are telling them, no, I don't want that. And they're speaking up for themselves, but they're a certain age. And they're telling them no, and they're going, he's just senile, we'll just keep doing it. In some cases, that is true. One thing that ticked me off the most that I'll never forget was we had this piece of garbage charge nurse at one place I worked at. I worked at a few different ones, but she came in and I reported to her what a resident said. And she said, oh, he just speaks gibberish. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm sitting there thinking, how in the hell do you know that for sure? Because I've seen people with Alzheimer's find out their own way to communicate. And sometimes it isn't the words that they say. Sometimes it's the gestures or the way they say stuff. You read between the lines. You can have a whole conversation with them. And it's not, you learn to communicate with them. And it's not the typical way. And yeah, some people's minds are lost. That doesn't mean they're all completely lost. Oh, God bless him, country gentleman. That's how my grandma was. She passed the day before she was 95. She had COVID twice, and that's what ended up taking her life. If she wouldn't have gotten that, she would still be here, almost certainly. But her type 1 diabetes could have gotten her. She did not watch it well. Her dementia could have progressed. Her last few days alive, she was comfortable. She was at peace. She said her goodbyes and her hellos, and she was ready. Her time came to her, came ready when she was, that was it. It was sooner than later because of COVID, but it came while she was comfortable. And if that had to be a little earlier, at least she was comfortable and ready, and she had a long life. That's, well, and Zippo and Hunter, that's definitely the way it ought to be. You think of your parents, they spent a lot of years raising you. So if you have a lot of years to look after them before they go, You just do it. That's part of your life. It drives me crazy. The many times there were people that were old enough to be retired, whose parents were in nursing homes, and they were retired and didn't, from good jobs, and would never come see him. They stuck him in a home and waited for him to die. I was in nursing for around 6 or 7 years total. And there were people that didn't come see people within that amount of time. It was disgusting. Some people didn't have anybody, but it was nuts. There you go, DDT. Well, and a lot of it is the will to survive, isn't it? If you're willing to keep going, most of the time you can fight through quite a bit. Well, we already start off with a 1 in 5 chance. Do you know, with all the cells that regenerate, there's a chance for, what is it called? There's a chance for a mutation. So you basically, just for being alive, have a 1 in 5 chance of getting cancer. And then somewhere over 6 feet, so many inches over 6 feet, that increases your chance. Family heritage increases your chance. So, I mean, by the time you're in your 30s, if you had anybody anywhere in your family had cancer, you have like a 40% chance of getting cancer. Or 30%, somewhere like that. That's not if you smoked, which I will admit that smoking does do that for some people and not for others. That just is how it is. That's not including the sun exposure. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, real butter and bacon and steak. That would keep me living longer than anything else. I prove it now. I eat a pea-sized bite of mango, and for 5 days, I'm swollen, where 2 of those days I couldn't hardly move. So fruit isn't helping me very much. But I did eat blueberries. So more meat is nice to me than fruits. Well, and when you look at the big picture, the whole cosmos, the universe, and all that stuff, what do we really know for certain? It's not a lot of things. I should, DDT. Well, and why'd they have to say vegetarian when we already had terms for that, carnivore and herbivore. So if I was a meatitarian, the way that a lot of vegetarians are vegetarians, would that mean I could cheat and have a salad with my chicken? Or fries with my steak? It still counts as only eating meat, right? I can have fruit salad as long as there's a steak within 8 inches of the plate or bowl. Oh, see, Zippo's omnivarian. See, you just slap a new name on it and try to make it into something. Omnivore is handy. It is handy. I always laugh when I see people doing that, though. Either way, I only eat meat or I only eat veggies, and I'm like, you have flat and sharp teeth, both. You cannot tell me you're only vegetarian. That's just choice. But your body is capable of eating both meat and veggies, so therefore you're an omnivore, whether you like it or not. Capable of eating it. You're just a picky omnivore. That's right, man. My grandma always told us, word to that word, Zippo. But anyway, she always told us it was like a wheel. Life is a wheel. Everybody is on that wheel. At some point, it's your turn to be next on the wheel. And when it's your turn, it's your turn. She told me that about a year before she passed. Was when I heard about it last. I only heard her say it twice, but yeah, it's like a wheel. When it's your turn, it's your turn. Whether you're ready or not, whether you like it or not, whether it was your choice or not. Well, it's your turn, it's your turn. That's how I am, DDT. That's where I'm a little picky with omnivorism. Oh, Zippo. Well, and that's true. See, doctors change their mind with whatever sounds right, it seems like. And you're exactly right. I remember they're saying red meat's bad for you. Now red meat's good for you. Well, what is it? Look at our ancestors. Did you know our ancestors' diets were 85% meat? So 85% meat, they must have needed meat. Even if it would have been 50-50, they needed something. We're all here from somebody. Have you guys ever seen Naked and Afraid? I got to talk about that show. I like that show. I understand that some of it seemed pretty real and some of it, it's like at some point they're like, yeah, this isn't real. Okay. What really drove me crazy, there was an episode, this dude was messed up from society, and I felt for him. And he had to look after these two ladies, and he spent all his resources making this huge place for them to sleep and be sheltered. And they laid around and did nothing, ate stuff that he brought them, but they wouldn't eat meat, one of them especially. And I remember one of them saying, survival has to be lazy. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, even sloths at some point and pandas have to get off their butts and go eat. Or panda's case, they roll to another, you just go sit in a giant salad and eat. So they made me ticked because then he wanted to go to his own camp to get away from him. So he chose leaving basically over sticking out his goals because of two Naggy patties. And they're like, it's so real. And I was like, man, if it was real, I'd want to knock them on the head. Then you find another group and they're like, oh, what bring you this way? Oh, nothing. The other two, I don't know what other two. Went out hunting and were eaten by sharks. I don't know what happened. I couldn't save them. It was just quick. That is true, Zippo. I've seen a lot of it. That's right, Zippo. It's one of those, I guess, guilty pleasure shows, I would call it. I'm not proud of having seen it, but I liked some of the episodes. And it was a good illustration of life where whenever there's plenty to see available, it's usually not what you want to see. Well, and the worst part is you get doctors that are corrupt, and then you get good doctors that are behind red tape, so they want to keep their job and support their family. They got to follow the rules of a corrupt facility. So they only last so long. I had to get a lawyer to see a neurologist after a solid year of no appointments. Was it a year? 2 years? It's a long time. There was one out of town, and understandable, COVID restrictions wouldn't let the person travel back. And you have to have a meeting in person to try or prescribe any medication for seizures anyway. And instead of giving me a new neurologist, they just said no one's available till they're back. And then they were back for some months and there was no call or anything. It was crazy. Holy cow, Zippo. Yeah, and I'm not, I know what you guys mean and you guys know what I mean, so we're not just, obviously there are people who care. We wouldn't be quite where we're at with things. It's good to be able to spot the BS. Or in Zippo's case, the 1,842 cases of BS. Goodness. Well, I did start a Rumble account months back. So at some point I will be moving some things there and just be ready in case, since YouTube seems to be wanting to encourage cancel culture more and more. Well, and the crazy thing is most people that own businesses, did you know there's only, like, look at all the mattresses in the world. Think of all the people, everybody who has beds, get all of their mattresses up until about 7 years ago from only two or three mattress companies, period. They all came from the same owners. Whether it's a million mattress stores or not, all the mattresses, the Sertas were the same as this, were the same as that. There's only 4 companies now, 3 or 4, that make and sell all of the beds that everyone uses. And mattresses and shirts particularly, but clothing, are 2 items that are drastically overpriced. Like, it generally costs 15 times what shirts and what mattresses cost to make, to purchase. Dang, Zippo. Well, it was like Hulu. I tried to do, if you watch Hulu, you can get Family Guy for free, no ads. You know, if you have basic, no ads. I can watch Family Guy all day if I were up for it. But as soon as you start paying, it's not one of Hulu's shows. So then you get ads. And then they charge a lot. So I didn't stick with that. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, you said 16, that's 3 times the ads. Well, and they'll monetize you whether you want them to or not as well. They'll stick ads on your content. If it's getting views enough, they'll stick ads on your content. And if you don't choose it, you don't get any money. And I've heard from a lot of people that monetizing isn't even. Oh, that's exactly right, Zippo. That's true. It's a heck of an effective business model. And some people make a good enough living off of doing it too. Oh, I know. And that drives me crazy, man. A lot of times, and it's messed up because I fall for some of it. A lot of times, it's either clickbait because you think what they're saying is probably going to be truly what they're going to say in the video, or you know it's clickbait and you want to click to see how bad it is. I guess generally I don't fall into that, but sometimes I'm interested in the subject and I'm just looking for one of the best views of it or something. Well, and if you're going to be a presenter and make serious money, it's all about knowing what they want and just manipulating them, manipulating people, beating them at their own game, basically. So maybe those people that make a lot of those really dumb videos, and I go, why would anybody pay to see this? Maybe they're not entirely stupid and they just act it, because some of them make good money. I've known people myself that make decent money. Must be, Ron, and welcome in. How you doing, brother? I killed a pipe today, but where something is destroyed, something new will be revealed. Yeah, I understand that, Hunter. Yeah, I started a new pipe, so I was working on, and I'll keep it short because these guys have heard it, and my wife's heard it. I was working on a old-fashioned Sherlock Holmes pipe, and it was going to end up a mini because I had to remove like a lot off the top to start with, and an inclusion caused my bit to break, so it's a no good piece. So to make up for it, I grabbed a piece of Briar, and it's this really nice big sized piece, and it has some deep gorgeous plateau, and I'm going to make a tomahawk pipe out of it, which will be even cooler. Well, and I'm the same way, Hunter. When I start seeing those pop-up commercials and this and that, it's all just white noise to me. I'm like, this is just, I just tune it all out, and then you really truly learn that there's nothing to watch on. RD, how you doing, brother? It's been a while, and I'll gladly let you know that your circle around the letter R is pink. Same as last time, I believe. How you been, buddy? Well, they're skipping steps now, Hunter. They went from half naked women to just half women. They kind of make me think of like a L'Oreal commercial. They're like, if you can't tell, Why should we? I understand, man. I'm glad you're doing good. I knew it. You're doing the pre-sleep lounge, and
No, my back is popping.
your back feels good. Your sides and your trunk muscles feel good because you're like,
You know how you just into those big stretches?
that was quite a stretch.
Why did you have to be looking like that?
I don't know. You tell me, Miss. What is that stuff called? Miss Yoga? You're like, salutation to the sun and the moon and the gods. No, that's just me sounding old because of my stomach. Yeah, it's pretty damn dumb. Zippo, and the greatest enemy to all of that is going outside, going to work, going to the garage, going for a walk. That is the one remedy to all of it. Rustica, Maker's Mark Shooter, and Michelob. Which pipe are you smoking, bud? And is that pipe still treating you well? Mine's treating me well. Got some more posted on Instagram, and gonna have some more done this week, I hope. Looks that way. Just trying to balance the days right between awesome weather, between energy and how that day is going, and how many days I have up to work, and however many pipes, you know, just the usual. Oh, nice. I haven't experienced a Falcon pipe yet, but I've seen and heard good things about them. I will say, RD, when your pipe got finished, I still have the piece that we had to cut off because of a crack that would have been part of the shank. But you're so funny. But I definitely, especially by the end, seeing how it looked, man, I liked it. Squadron leader, that's a good one as well. So you did laundry and cleaned the workbenches off. There you go. Oh, autocorrect snuck up on you, and that's the funniest crap I've ever seen. I'm just quoting the YouTube's fixing of your typing. Don't get me wrong. I like half-naked women. By damn when have the shit pooping up on my Instagram or YouTube with half-naked women. Man, I don't even know what to say, but they got you. But I know what you mean. But it does get pretty dang ridiculous because it's like Christmas. You see some of that stuff and they're like, it's Christmas. But it's no fun if you don't have to unwrap the gifts. Just saying. There, yeah, RD. Yeah, DDT, isn't that awesome? Oh, let's see. Ron pulled the trigger on the new Diamondback Cob Pipe Tuesday. It already arrived today. That's fantastic. A second smoke, they could have done better on the finish by using a finer sander on the pipe before painting. I've heard one way to do it is to sand no more than 400 grit, do the first staining, lightly sand it again, and then do more coats and just repeat to get them to stain really good into the wood. I do that more now than I did. Sometimes what I'll do is if the wood's just super absorbent is I'll do, it's not technically 2 coats. I just do a heavy coat where I just go over it quite a bit, make sure it looks really good. Then I'll let it dry, then do a bit of sanding, and then do it again. And that seems to work well. And then giving it a day between coats, a solid 24 hours. And then, so if I stained it today at noon, then I'll do that again tomorrow at noon. I'll sand it and stain it again. And then if I'm going to wax it, I'll give it a whole day, wax it, then give it another whole day and then wax it. Then another whole day and it's good to go. When I do it that way, yes, it takes some days, but the stain stays really good. It works much better. And you can do the base sanding at 400 even when you're going, or the base stain at 400, and then sand the pipe to 1,000 and then stain it again because it will actually hold more of the stain when that works. Because I know it gets to that point, Hunter, when you're about done with the pipe. You did the drilling, you did the stem, the bit, the mouthpiece, the drill hole, the shank, everything's all done. The draft hole, the shank, everything's done, and you're just waiting on the stain. And it's so you want it so badly to just be done because you did all that work, and it's just to the sweet spot of staining and waiting and taking care of it and finishing up, and you've got all that high amount of anticipation to get it to the person, and you're just waiting. The thing that helps me with that is while I'm waiting, it's nice because it's relieving, because it's like, okay, this is still being worked on while it's drying, and I can work on another thing, and I'm doing 2 things at once. So that helps, but it does drive me crazy, the wait. Because, stem work can be 2 or 3 days. Pipe work can be sometimes 1 day up to 5 days. So it's already almost 2 weeks. And then anything goes wrong, if you have to restart or if there's a hiccup or if you're adding anything to that, If you're adding a brass cap or something, that's another solid day or two. And then if you do any staining and sanding, that kind of stuff, that do another 3 to 5 days if you're waxing it afterward. So it just takes time, and it's hard to be patient when you're so excited about a project, but it pays off being patient. It definitely does with pipe making. Oh, I miss the old mash. I wasn't against the show, wasn't a super big fan, but they had more shows on during that time period that were decent to watch, and some of them I didn't realize how decent they were to watch until fast forward to now, when it's like, this stuff is garbage. Those old shows were gold. I should have recorded all of them. Oh, definitely. Phil, Jay Mouton, Eric Weaver, very helpful. They like to see, they like to give advice or give you a tip on, like, Phil knows that I have limits mentally on what I can do, what I can process. So a lot of his advice is just saying, hey, you can also do this with this type of tool. This type of tool may work better for you. I do better with this one, but you might be able to get more out of this one since this one's harder for you to use. So even just advice like that has made the difference between making pipes and not making pipes. And I know he wants to be just one of the guys, and I'm, but I do appreciate all the tips I've gotten. Eric Weaver, Tim, Jim, I can't remember the channel names right now, and Phil have all been very good help to me. Tips on tools to use, tips on what to do with certain types of sandpaper, from putting painter's tape on the back or doing whatever. Those little tips make a big difference when all of a sudden just one extra option to somebody that may be option number 5 of how they're going to work on something is your only option of how you can work on it. So definitely. And Hunter made a great video. If anybody's looking at bending stems with a heat gun, check out his videos. He's got a great one. I think I saved it in my playlist, instructional videos. If I didn't, I meant to. It's fantastic. And thanks to him, I can now, sometimes with one shot, 1 or 2 shots, have a pipe bent exactly how I want it. It's easy to learn, but for me, being visual and seeing it done made all the difference. And sometime I'll make a video like that too, while I'm making a pipe, and just give people a video to see, and also give you more shout outs, Hunter. Well, yeah, same here, Zippo. The probably 95% or more 95% or more of the advice I've gotten has just been absorbed. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I couldn't think of how to word it. So your message here helps a lot, man. Yeah, most of it's been absorbed. A lot of times I say, Phil helped me with this, and people are wondering, well, he helped you with that, did he? And I'm kind of like, well, I don't always remember if it was something he told me or if it was something he was just telling us and I kept it in my mind. So a lot of times I say he helped me because whether it was directly or indirectly, I've gotten a lot of help from Phil, and a lot of it has been those tips. Advice is great. All advice is good. Even if someone gives you good advice or bad advice, it's all good because then you apply your personal filter to it and decide what works for you and then move on or keep some in the back of your mind. Yeah, the only thing I use the lathe for, my dad, well, sometimes can, but generally my dad changes the stem material from the blocks it's in to the rods, and then I use it to do the tenons. He drills them, I do the tenons, and that's all I use the lathe for is really the tenons. Oh, I understand, Zippo. Yeah, and now if you make your own stems, I'm proof you can make a pipe no problem. You can make nice looking pipes that work well without a lathe. Because I hardly use a lathe. If you have a oh, that's true. Pipe makers, and there are lots of people that do pipe restorations who are really good with stems. Definitely, man. Like for me, if you ever decide you want another stem for a pipe that you've gotten of mine, then I'll make another stem for it. I wouldn't charge you much, but it'd be like shipping and or something like that. But definitely I would re-stem stuff if it needed it. And I like the way I'm doing my stems with the integral tenons, which are part of the stem, because if you drop a pipe, the stem will break, and it's much less likely that the shank will break. It's much easier to replace a stem than it is to deal with a repair shank repair, whatever you want to call it. Oh, awesome. Awesome, Hunter. I've got I actually have a pipe I'm going to try to put a copper band on this week. The pipe's mostly done. I just need to do the drilling and then the really fine sanding to get that to get right to where I want to put the band, but that's my goal. Thank you, Zippo. It's like you read my mind. I'm like, I know Simon. I know who you're talking about. I couldn't think of London Calling. Yeah, LCS Briar's. Yeah, he makes good stuff too. He's fantastic. Nice, RD. I'm going to give you guys a toast. And I'm going to head out too. I'm pretty tired. So I'm not mentally, I'm doing really good tonight, as you can tell. Pretty good. And at least if I'm hearing correctly what I think is coming out of my mouth, then it's going pretty good. But physically, I've just been worn out. Oh, well, I'll wait for you a minute. Paul, I won't leave yet, brother. If you got in here, I'll wait a little bit. I'll give a toast anyway, some original Captain Morgan spiced rum. Oh, man, it's been doing that, Paul. And I started at about 10:45 Eastern. I Was ready at 10 Eastern, and I swear I blinked, and of course my cat wanted to go outside and come back in and go outside and come back in. So I had to do that. But I blinked, man, and 40 minutes went by. I was like, what happened? Thank you, Hunter. That's nice of you, buddy. Yeah, sometimes I do all the work on them, and you notice anything that you want to be perfect that may not look perfect to you when you're the person doing it. But then when you get done and you know you've done all you can, and you set the pipes up and you take a picture, then looking at it when it's stained, when it's totally dried, and the stain is like dark how it's going to be, and the marks you left are there how they're going to be, especially those. Sometimes I'll leave, like on RD's pipe, I left a few tooling marks or sanding marks, so as it's stained and then got used, some spots would darken and give it kind of a nice rustic look. Then when you see that in full effect, you take a step back, you're like, that's pretty good. Did I make that? Hey, Robert, how you doing, brother? Well, Paul, I should have yours. My goal is Monday, depending on the post office. They said they'll be open again Monday because they were closed for maintenance for a few days. So I should have yours and Hunter's and Vegas Piper's boxes on their way, and hopefully Hillbilly Piper's box on his way. And then I will have some samples for Phil and Dark Lord on their way. So the mail people are going to be like, what is wrong with you mailing like 6 things out? Like, what's wrong with you trying to be open 2 days this week? But it should be Monday, and if it's not, I will try Tuesday. But hopefully, because the only other time I recall them doing a maintenance that took a few days, they said they'd be open on a certain day, and they didn't open until like an hour and a half before they closed. Hopefully this is not like that, but everything's all set and ready. So as soon as I can, but I'll make a video and let you know and send you tracking and stuff like that. It's been an interesting night. Was like open carry, Ron? Dang, what are you doing? Robert, what's happening, bud? Did your doll head leave you? Did she leave you for a new body? Was that what happened, bud? That'd be pretty disheartening. Is that what happened? Be honest. But it's been a weird day, Robert. I'll tell you. I had a pipe for Hillbilly Piper started a while back. I worked on other stuff and got it pretty close to done. So when I knew he was back from the Philippines, I could finish it up and get it to him. And It's all but done. About an hour left. Tomorrow will be all done. So today I started a Sherlock Holmes pipe. Turned out a little rough start because I had to remove some of the briar before I even started. But it was really turning out nice. And then a drill bit broke thanks to an inclusion under the draft hole. And it broke into 3 pieces. So I had to ruin the pipe just to get it out. And it would have been ruined anyway with it left there. So that was my day, my afternoon, or my early evening. Some crazy lady. She must be crazy to stalk you, man. I thought you had to have a license to Karen. Okay, I know that was lame. Okay, that is a good one, Ron. That was better than mine. Yeah, I posted a picture or two maybe on Instagram so you can see where it was at. I was just about to do all the fine, really nice sanding and make where I did indents around the rim is where I was going to make it flare up. I was just finishing up the rim, like the actual top of it, sanding the saw marks off of that, and it was just drilled. Everything was beautiful, and that happened last minute. And I was like, come on. Dang, Robert, it's all that t-shirt money, man. She heard you had some Captain Black grape. I'd say throw it to her, but sometimes you bait the shark and you invite him. That's messed up though, man. Oh, that's awesome, Paul. Yeah, it sounds like cops. I'm sorry about that, Robert. That's trippy. I hate people that do that. Oh, Z-Zip. Oh, and it's all those times you've been, see, there was a lady walking around. It was probably her going, I really am looking for a guy that's a good cuddler. And then she overheard you in a Google Meet with us telling Phil you'd cuddle with him. She goes, that guy right there sounds like he knows how to cuddle. Oh, yeah. Hunter, one day was one day was swimming weather. The next day it was snowing and it was 40 degrees. I'm like, why? What? You give me 95, then you go to 40 and then 30. Like, quit it. Oh, okay. No, you're fine, man. I like the joke anyway. Oh, that could be true. Those lost tampers. Oh man, I on my Instagram post with what happened with the Sherlock Holmes pipe today. Brad Piper said, "You think that sucks?" He said, He had the same thing happen with the restoration pipe where he wasn't to do anything to the draft hole. I couldn't imagine. Because I at least did it. I can pick up a different block and start again. When it's a restoration, that's it. It isn't, can I make a different one and fix it? It's, I just totally messed this one up. My goodness. Well, that's good. That's good, Robert. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Definitely. Can we just shoot trespassers in the leg? You know, I think that's fair. I think if someone's on your property and they won't talk to you or can't give you any explanation why they're there, then you tell them you come back here again, you're going to be in deep trouble. You tell the police, do everything you're supposed to do, report it, and they had their warning. Depending on what they're, everybody's different that shows up. Oh, Ron, I have that happen all the time. So now I come over here and I bring a bunch of these. I've got a lighter here. I had 2 boxes of matches here. I don't know where they went. A lot of times I drop them into a box. I have a lighter here as well. Then a box of like 100 of these cheap match boxes over there. But I'll be sitting in the chair going, I had everything right here. Where was everything that was sitting on my leg or next to me in this box or on this box? I understand, bud. I bet, Robert, that's what I'm thinking. You or I could be like, well, I'll deal with it and I've got a solution in case and blah, blah, blah. And you tough it out. But it's different when your family's upset because how you assure yourself, you assure everybody everything's fine when you don't really know what's going on in that person's head. And then dang drugs, when I worked security, used to be you'd find people and you just tell them, it'd be adults playing hide and seek or something. And you just tell them, okay, just don't come back over here. You can keep going, but don't come back over here. And then it's someone shows up and it doesn't matter if you've got a gun or a baton or taser or pepper spray and cuffs or whatever, and they just won't take the hint because they're not awake mentally. So you have no idea what you're dealing with because they can appear normal and then just not respond to squat. That is a tough situation. Generally, I do too, Ron. Although the other day I stood up and I didn't feel anything go, like when I put my hands on the sides of the chair, didn't feel anything go anywhere, didn't hear the famous cling that it's underneath or hit metal on the way down or landed on the wood platform under the chair. And I stood up and everything was gone and I had no idea where it was. Like TV remote was next to the armrest. I felt for it 10 times, didn't find it. And Mabu goes over, it's right here. I'm like, what? And usually I do that to her. And then she did that to me. She found the stuff. Oh man, I bet Hunter. I have times like that, not because of eyesight necessarily, but I'll have times like that too where I'm sitting there. A lot of times it's because of the epilepsy where something just won't be there. Like I could set my lighter on my laptop and look at it and see the laptop with no lighter there. Look around, look at the same spot, and then see it. Like it doesn't always register that it's there. So that's one of the times. So I'll turn back and be like, that was here? This is where I've looked 15 times. I did that yesterday. They do, Paul. Little Fat Morgan sent me some golf tees for Tampers, along with the Country Gentleman and some. Oh man, what was it Esoterica? I think it was Esoterica. I might be wrong. One of the Rustica. Oh, you did guard too? Yeah, it was interesting. My first night, we had fireworks thrown at us. We had an empty tissue box that was thrown 10 feet, and we were 40 feet away. We had people peeling out. We had people throwing beer bottles and other stuff at us. It was like, okay, they got it out of their system, and then they left. It wasn't a big deal. And I didn't usually go looking for trouble. We had people across the street, and that was out of our area. They'd go into a storage building and party in there, which their idea of partying was listening to crappy music and peeing outside. But they'd play table tennis and what's outside on their own truck because they're drunk and they're not coming over to my side of stuff. Whatever. They were cool with me. I left them alone. Oh, cool, Paul. I was with a shipping company, and then I was with FedEx and another place, and then a grocery store. And the grocery store was interesting. They're like, you can bring Mabu with. My boss is like, you guys are coming out of town. Bring her with. On your time off, you'll into the sites. Be here a couple months or a couple weeks or a month. Everything will be great. We were gone a long time. Half the staff didn't show up. So my 8-hour days were 16-hour days. He put us up at the Gunshot Inn. The hotel rooms had the way in the front, and then they also all of them had back doors away from any visible place, any street. So anybody could be back there breaking in or doing whatever. So meanwhile, I'm thinking wonder if Mabu's doing okay. And she didn't feel safe enough to go out and do stuff. And then I got logged into way more hours than I meant to, than I was going to be. So it was crap. Yeah. Well, it was nice because they put up a deal on our phone that was like an emergency button. I can't recall exactly what it was called, but you press that and the patrol officers nearby were there quick, and that was awesome. One time I got on shift, and a coworker she had been in she was in an Air Force site for a while, and she was in a fight with somebody, and they're both on the ground. They both looked ridiculous, like nobody had their footing. And she was trying to get up. She wasn't real healthy anyway. She was a bit overweight, which wasn't because of diet, but she was no longer a decent age or shape to really be doing security work. She usually ran her car the whole night to keep warm and just drove around. Didn't do foot patrols and stuff like that. So, which foot patrols help. They actually help reduce the amount of unwanted traffic on there, because you're leaving prints, you're being seen all over, and and you keep warm enough you don't have to run your car all night. But she was in an argument, so I went over and neither of them could get what was going on right. I think the lady was coming down from a high or something. I don't know. It was a worse drug than anything, but I remember going over and I just cuffed the lady's arm under her leg to the fence and then cuffed her ankle. It was weird, but she was cuffed in an uncomfortable position when we called the police, and then my coworker and I just kind of waited by the building. It was hilarious. Awesome, Robert. See, and now why do people want to defund police if they, no government police official is going to be there that quick? That's awesome, bud. Oh, nice, Paul. Yeah. Most of it was just people trespassing, but it wasn't usually anything serious. There were some weird times, but that was about it. Wasn't often. Ron, I love the way you worded that, though. You're right. This was a Google Meet. I'd tell you a really good joke that I heard. It's totally inappropriate, and if I say it on here, they'll flag me for something stupid. But if I remember the prison one, I'll have to remember on Google Meet. Well, I'm going to get ready and go to bed, fellas. I'm tired and I'm ready to lay down. It's been the best part of the day being here with you guys, sharing some pipes and some stories. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys, and maybe if things go well enough, I can get a video up or two and walk through starting a new pipe or something. Would be kind of a fun video to do. But hope you guys have a wonderful night. Robert, best of luck to you, man. I truly mean that, because that is annoying. That is annoying. And hopefully everything goes okay and it blows over, or the person gets called in by someone else and gets arrested, and it's discovered she had a bunch of previous charges and they just keep her in jail from then on. That'd be awesome. But thank you guys very much for being here. Zippo says good night. She said good night to you guys too. I look forward to getting more pipes done. Look forward to getting your boxes out. I don't like keeping them, because then I just see the boxes and then I see the pipes, or I know they're in there and I want to smoke them. So I need to get them out of here before I get too tempted. It's dangerous. But you guys take care and be safe. God bless you all.